Hello, welcome everybody. Welcome to the webinar. Just so I can check if I have audio and video working correctly, give me the number 2 in the chat box. Awesome. Looks like everything is working well. Lots of 2s. All right, welcome everyone. This is Andrew Hanoun, and I'm really excited to be delivering this webinar to you today. It is so simple and it goes completely against the grain and against what everyone else is telling you out there. We're constantly bombarded with marketing messages. Do keto, paleo, count your calories, don't eat meat, do cardio, don't do cardio. It's very overwhelming, and what I'm going to do for you here today on this webinar is really just distill down to the basics and get to the root cause of weight plateau and weight gain. There are so many things to do out there today just to release weight. Today's webinar is really going to put you at peace and at ease. I'm going to talk about how to get more with less. That's the general theme for this webinar today. So I'm going to show you how to reset your metabolism and release the weight by actually doing less. I'm really excited and looking forward to be delivering this to you today. The title of this webinar is 7 Steps to Resetting Your Metabolism and Releasing the Weight. So give me a number 7 in the questions box if you're really excited and looking forward to this presentation today. Awesome. All right. So many 7s. Well, let's jump right into it. I don't want to do the typical webinar where it goes for 3 hours and I tell long stories and everything like that. So this webinar is only going to be around 45 minutes to an hour, and it's going to be fast. It's going to be action packed. We got a lot of things to cover. So let's jump right in. So first of all, who is this for? Like, how do you know if you're in the right place right now or whether you should quit and go back to doing other things? Well, this webinar is for women who are 45 to 75 years old and even older. We've helped women older than 75 as well, but who've tried everything to release the weight but have had little success, little to no results. Those who want to learn a quick, healthy, sustainable way to release the weight and learn how to keep it off. Those with weight-related health conditions like high cholesterol, high blood pressure, diabetes, arthritis, migraines, sleep apnea, thyroid conditions, GERD, who would like to work on improving them, and those who understand that they need to invest in themselves and that they are worthy of having the health and body that they desire. So, in the next 45 minutes, what I'm going to share with you is first how to release all the weight you want, even if that sounds impossible to you right now, without intense exercise, pills, or fad dieting, and how to keep the weight off and be in control of your weight and health while still being able to enjoy yourself during the holidays and eating out. We're going to cover how to get to the root of weight gain and support your body from the inside out, how to finally achieve deep, restful sleep and energy levels to conquer the world, and how to find the real you again. So basically, everything you need to know so that you release the weight you want with a proven process quickly without yo-yo dieting, excessive exercise, and constant rebound weight gain. So a little bit of house rules for today's webinar. This is not a weight loss quick fix. This is not a cabbage soup diet or keto or any other fad diet like that. This is not do nothing but take this pill, drink this shake, and lose the weight diet. This is definitely not count your calories. This is not a magic solution with no work. You must put in the work and be dedicated and committed to change. This is not how to lose all the weight by exercising yourself to death. It's definitely not that. And you must be willing to make a lifestyle change and commit to a healthier you. If you have that covered, I can help you release the weight and show you how to keep it off. But if not, I can't help you. You see, if you are looking for a quick fix solution without a change in lifestyle and committing to making yourself healthier, then this webinar is really not for you. You're better served by watching a late night infomercial about some weight loss gadget that you see on TV. If, however, you are sick and tired of fad dieting, you are sick and tired of counting your calories, and you just want something that works and that's simple and that makes you feel good, then this webinar is definitely for you. So here are some house rules for today's webinar. First, my clients' results may seem too good to be true. Their results are not typical. The people you're about to hear from are committed to living life, a healthier life, and they put in the effort and trust the process. The results you get are entirely up to you. The weight loss results testimonials are in no way a guarantee of results. Individual loss results, including amount of time, will vary. Whether genetic or environmental, it should be noted that food intake, rates of metabolism, and levels of exercise and physical exertion vary from person to person. This means weight loss results will vary from person to person. No individual results should be seen as typical. Now, I do want to say this. The current results the fitness industry preaches to you about, only 1 to 2 pounds a week, is really for amateurs. It's for people who really don't know what they're doing and trying to force the body to get the weight off instead of working with the body. If, however, you want to release more than that, then this webinar is for you. I'm going to teach you exactly how to do that. So, does this sound like you? Some weeks you see this scale go down just to see it go right back up later. Jumping in to a program, seeing some results, plateauing, getting frustrated and giving up, then gaining all the weight back plus more, and repeating this process over and over again. Feeling so overwhelmed with all the information that you just don't know where to start. No matter what you eat, how much you reduce your food intake, exercise, and count your calories, your weight won't budge. And in fact, it may be increasing. But you see some of your friends and family able to lose the weight easily with the same programs that you're doing, and you keep wondering to yourself what you're doing wrong. You don't feel like the real you. You don't feel like yourself. You don't feel human. And you don't feel like the person that you really are. Your weight controls every aspect of your life and stops you from living the life that you truly want. It keeps you just getting by in life instead of actually thriving and living the life that you know you want and deserve. Your weight controls your life, and it really does stop you from living the life that you want. Your weight and body is always on your mind. You're constantly thinking about it, and you know there has to be an answer out there for you, but you really just don't know where to turn or where that is. Do you feel like every attempt at weight loss gets you further and further from your goals and makes you more and more demotivated to continue? You may be feeling like just as like giving up and accepting this is how you're going to be forever, but there is still a part of you that has hope. Do you feel like there's an invisible force that's stopping you from releasing all the weight and getting healthier? Here's the real problem. You're stuck in the old model and haven't moved to the effective, quick, and sustainable new model of weight release. I know some of your jaws are dropping right now. These words, effective, quick, and sustainable, are probably not something you've ever encountered when it comes to weight release before, at least not altogether. And that's why I'm so confident you're going to be able to take a lot from this webinar. So here's what happens when you move to the new model. It's actually possible to have the body and weight you did before you were married and before you even had kids. I don't care if you're in your 50s, your 60s, your 70s. This applies to all of you. You can have the energy and stamina you had in your 20s or 30s. You can start sleeping deeply through the night, even if you had insomnia for years. Even if you sleep with a CPAP machine, you can start sleeping deeply and through the night while waking up refreshed and ready to conquer the world. It is possible. Your aches and pains can decrease or even sometimes disappear. You can be free to do the activities and hobbies that you love. Again, you'll be able to play with your grandkids, play with your children, be able to go on hikes with your husband, and you'll be able to really do the things that you want to do again that you can't do right now. And you'll have the confidence to show up in all areas of your life. Once you move to the new model, it's possible to improve your blood tests, whether it be blood pressure, blood sugar, cholesterol. And now I know this sounds really good to really good to be too good to be true, um, because I know a lot of these symptoms with these medications or these side effects can be pretty bad, and nobody wants to be on medications for the rest of their life. You will also know exactly what to do to keep the weight off, and you'll stay healthy and being in total control of your health and weight for life. And you'll do all this while becoming that person that you know you really are. My name is Andrew Hanoun, and I've been in this industry for over 12 years. I got my psychology and neuroscience honors degree from McMaster University in Canada, and then I went into naturopathic medical school and got my doctorate degree of naturopathic medicine, or I should say a doctorate degree of doctor of naturopathy degree. I do hold multiple nutrition degrees. I've trained with some of the top minds in the health industry in the world, and I've helped thousands of clients who are completely stuck to release all the weight and keep it off while transforming their health and bodies. And this is what I devote every single being of who I am every single day to. And I'm not just one of those gurus types that sings their own praise. You see, here are the results of some of my clients. This is Karen Abdallah. She's in her 50s, and she was active and healthy for her whole life, up until her mid 50s when she got thyroid cancer. She had to get her thyroid removed, and that same year gained over 50 pounds. She had tried everything she could and still gained weight for 3 steady years. Her doctor told her to just be grateful that she's alive and really had no answers for her to get the weight off. In fact, she would continually question him until he finally just left the room with her in it because he didn't want to answer any more of her questions. And she was left exhausted all the time with no answers. She had daily migraines, depression, anxiety, insomnia, and severe arthritis pain. She hated going shopping because she hated seeing herself in the mirror. Here is Karen 7 months later, 78 pounds lighter. She released 30 of those pounds in her first 6 weeks. She's now at 136 pounds, which was the weight she was before she got sick. She's much more comfortable in her body and feels like herself again. She says that she has no more migraines, pains, anxiety, and depressions. She says they have all disappeared. She says sleeping soundly through the night. She has energy to go all day and play with her children, and she's back to being me again. She's back to being herself again. Here's the before and after in just 7 months. Here's her over a year later after that, keeping the weight off. You can tell she's still at her high school weight in that photo, like 2 years later after having released all that weight. You can see down there 189 reactions from our community and over 201 comments of people congratulating her. Here is Melody Earl. She's in her 50s. She released 100 pounds of fat in less than a year. Melody struggled with her weight ever since her third pregnancy in 1991. I'm sure a lot of you can relate having gained weight in your pregnancy. Some you're able to release that, and some it sticks with you. And each pregnancy, again, you gain more and more. She tried Weight Watchers, Atkins, keto, isogenics, Herbalife, and more. She would release 15 pounds, but then she'd gain it right back and more when she stopped the programs. In the last 2 years, she had gained even more weight, needing to have gotten steroid shots for her osteoarthritis in her knees. She was terrified about needing knee replacements because of her weight and the amount of inflammation in her body. And in just the first 6 weeks of working with me, she had released 32 pounds. Now she has no more arthritis pain and has her energy and life back. Can you imagine that, not needing to get those shots in her knees anymore? She's now wearing size 12 pants, and for the first time in a very long time, she's wearing medium-sized shirts. Here's a closer before and after photo, and you can really tell she looks like a different person, not just with the weight, but something else about her. And this is just the start of it. In the many years I've been coaching others, I've helped thousands of people just like this to get to their dream weight and health and taught them how to keep it off. So you might be asking yourself, what is this new model? Well, there are 7 transformations that need to happen if you want to release the weight and keep it off. The first and the most important one, if there's only one thing you get from this webinar, let that be this. You must focus on health first and not weight loss. You see, your body is the correct weight based on the signals that you send it. It's extremely difficult, almost impossible, to release inflammatory weight and keep it off without first getting the body healthy. This is why traditional programs that I talked about at the beginning can only get 1 to 2 pounds of weight loss a week. You see, even after that happens, people still plateau, and then they gain it back when they stop those programs because they're so exhausted. However, this versus our program that delivers 20 pounds of fat loss in the first 6 weeks, and our clients can actually maintain it. You see, every attempt to lose weight with a sick body results in rebound weight gain. An inability to lose weight is actually a sign of a toxic, inflamed body. You see, a lot of people might think that being overweight is just about willpower or just about an inability to count calories, but the truth is that has nothing to do with why people can't get the weight off. It's not about willpower. It's not about counting calories. You see, the people who join my program are counting their calories. They have willpower. They thought they were doing all the right things, but they just don't focus on getting their bodies healthy first. And an inability to lose weight is actually a sign of a much deeper, more sinister problem, and that is a toxic, inflamed body. So if right now you're sitting at your desk and you're watching this, or wherever you're sitting at, and you're not releasing the weight, you're not able to lose the weight, don't think it's something that you're doing wrong necessarily. It could be the fact that your body is pretty toxic and inflamed. And if you don't fix that, there's absolutely zero chance you'll be able to get this weight off, at least for the long term. And this is one of the biggest reasons why programs like Weight Watchers, if you're in Canada, then Bernstein, or Dr. Poon or Keto, or all these other things, it's the reason these programs don't work is because they don't focus on getting your body healthy first. You can't rely on a point system to get your body healthy. You can't rely on shots to get your body healthy. You can't rely on injection of God knows what to get your body healthy. You can't rely on fad diets and counting calories to get you healthy. You see, health is an all-in-one package. And many of the clients that come to me are pretty sick. And they come to me with joint pain, they come to me with fibromyalgia, they come to me with diabetes, they come to me with reflux, they come to me with sleep apnea, and they can't sleep at night. They come to me with hypothyroidism. They literally come to me with everything. And I've seen everything. And what we see is everything starts to improve as the weight is released. And this is because everything gets better as a side effect of a healthy body. So don't pick and choose what you improve on. Let's improve everything. Here is one of my clients, Ramona, and this is a testament of what happens when you focus on your health first. So at the very top there, you can see that she released 28 pounds in her first 6 weeks of working with me, and some of her, released a bunch of inches, 13 inches total. Then if you go down to where we underline that in orange, within 3 to 4 days of the anti-inflammatory diet, I was no longer hurting. Before, she was in severe pain. She had back pain, joint pain, leg pain, feet pain, 24/7. She had psoriatic arthritis, extremely painful. Now she says her psoriasis is 95% improved. She got to almost stop the chemical medication on her skin, which is horrible for you. If you have psoriatic arthritis, you know that's a bad medication that causes a lot of side effects. She used to have heartburn every day, except when she took her omeprazole, and that is gone now. She doesn't have to take that anymore. Her thyroid medication, her thyroid's working so much better now, and she will be able to adjust that medication, her doctor told her. Her blood pressure was 130 to 140 over 95, and sometimes it get as high as 152. Now it's 112 to 120 over 65. It's back in the normal range. She used to have migraine headaches about once a week at least, and she hasn't had one since she started the program. If you go down a little bit, you can see underlined her sciatica is 95% improved. She can now sleep on her right side again. Her pain was so bad it would wake her up at night. That doesn't seem to be the case anymore. She can sleep without her CPAP machine, without waking up in a panic with her heart racing. She can take walks now without hurting. And at the bottom there, she can now wear clothes that she bought in the early 2000s, 20 years ago. Here are some of her lab results that she posted. Her glucose went into normal. She was pre-diabetic, and now she's in normal range. Her cholesterol, she had high cholesterol. Now she's in normal range. Her triglycerides are back into normal range. Her vitamin D, back into normal range. So everything got back into normal range for her within that 6-week period of time. That's the power of focusing on your health first. Yes, she released 28 pounds in 6 weeks, but look at everything else that came with that for her. So much more important than just getting the weight off. Here is another client I worked with. So her goal when she wanted to work with me was actually her mom passed away recently before working with me. And that was also an awakening for her. And she just wanted to be healthy. Her end goal was, I want to be healthy and I want to be independent. She was a single mom, and one of her goals was to be able to travel to Peru, the ancient ruins and jungles, and be able to keep up on a 10-kilometer a day hiking tour. And she was actually able to do it after just a couple of months after working with me. And in red, you can see she says, "You have definitely educated, motivated, and led me on this great path to a healthier version of me. Thank you, thank you, thank you, Andrew." And she says that just above that red box, and then she says, "In gratitude." And here's another non-scale victory, as we call it, but another side effect of getting your body healthy. This is one of our clients who was suffering from type 2 diabetes. She had tried everything to be able to reduce her insulin. She tried lowering her carbs, keto, seeing naturopathic doctors. Actually, in fact, she was referred to me by a naturopathic doctor, and she says, "Non-scale victory, this is a biggie for me. I was taking massive amounts of insulin, 400 to 600 units a day. I'm on day 9 and haven't had to take any for the past 2 days." You can see the love she got there from the clients in the group, but what an amazing victory. So that's just another thing that happens when you put health first. Okay, so hopefully you understand the most important piece to this is we got to focus on getting the body healthy first. So please make a mental note of that. And now the next thing we're going to focus on is to stop counting calories. You know, most people are eating less than ever and still gaining weight, even when they track their calories. In fact, a lot, I'd say 80% of our clients we work with are women between the ages of 45 and 75 who have gone through menopause or are going through menopause. And before you know it, after they reach menopause, they're eating less than before and they're still gaining weight. They're eating less and they're exercising more, but still gaining weight. And even after women have their children, they gain weight with no change in calories from before and after pregnancy. And they can't lose the baby weight even on these low-calorie diets. So there's definitely something outside of the calorie model that's going on here. And obviously, the calorie counting model has to stop. It doesn't have any relevancy to our current inability to lose weight anymore. You know, we have women in our program who were binge eaters before the program, and they were eating less before they started the program in comparison to how much they're eating on our program. And they're still releasing 20 pounds of fat or more in the 6 weeks on our program. And I'm saying like one meal a day with an apple and a salad, still gaining weight before working with us, and then after, during the program, still being able to release weight while eating more food. So there's definitely something more than just counting calories. And the problem with counting calories is it also creates an unhealthy relationship with food. It increases your stress. I mean, all those times where you're just trying to figure out how many calories are in this or in that, and if you can't figure it out, you get anxious because you don't know if you're over or not, or maybe you did go over one day by a couple hundred calories and you're really stressing out about that. And you see, none of our clients are counting calories during or after the program. So this is definitely not something that's sustainable and not something that's going to produce long-term results. And if you're watching this webinar, you probably already know that because you probably already tried that. And, somebody who has tried it can attest to the fact that it's stressful and it's not sustainable and it doesn't even produce the results. So here is one of my clients, Sarah. Sarah is 62 years old and she tried Weight Watchers, Nutrisystem, counting calories. And yeah, she would, release 10 to 20 pounds on these programs, but she would plateau. She'd get frustrated, go back to what she was doing before, and go back to old habits and gain the weight back plus more. And she also suffered with severe knee pain, constant migraines, and never had any energy. Here is Sarah 4 months later. She has no more migraines. She hasn't had one since she started the program. Her knee pain is 90% better. In fact, she was on the waiting list to get a knee replacement from the hospital for 6 months before starting our program. The hospital called her within a couple months of her starting and said, okay, well, your time's finally up for your appointment to go see the surgeon. And she said, I don't need it anymore. And my knee feels totally fine. Imagine not having to get knee replacement because your knee feels totally fine. She has so much more energy. She cleans all day and she's just active all day. She weighs less than when she got married. She's 62 and she got married in her her late 20s. And she weighs less now. And she looks and feels better now than she did before she got married. And one of the biggest things for Sarah was that she wanted to wear high heels again. And in this photo, she's actually wearing those high heels. So here's a close-up of a before and after for Sarah. And of course, she's keeping it off over a year later. All right, so number 3 here, say no to fad diets. Please. Keto, low carb, high carb, cabbage soup, isogenics, the fact is the way you release the weight must be maintained to keep the weight off. So sooner or later, when you can no longer sustain the habits, the weight will come back on. And here's the kicker. You do more damage to your metabolism with each bad diet because each time you fail, your metabolic set point drops lower and lower, making future weight loss efforts harder and harder. The reality is our metabolism does have a memory, and you already know this because the first time you went on a diet, you were able to lose the weight pretty quickly, and then you gained it back pretty slowly. But the next time you went on on the program or the diet, the weight came off slower and you gained it back faster. And that kept repeating itself to the point where now you struggle with the weight, just releasing a couple pounds. And now you're at where you're finished with the program, you're frustrated, the weight will come back even faster to the point where now you can just look at food and gain the weight. So this is the issue with fad diets, and most people are so frustrated. They want a quick fix. They want something that works, and there's a lot of false promises out there that are looking to trap people. And so when people fall into that, what happens is they go into another cycle of fad dieting, do more damage to their metabolism, and unfortunately continue this cycle. So here's a rule of thumb. If you can't sustain the program, you can't do it long term, then it's not going to last, no matter how good the results are. You're going to gain the weight back, and most often you'll gain more than before you started. So here is an example of one of my clients who went through this constant cycle for 40 years. Her name is Louise Benoit, and she started dieting at 15 years old and has lost and gained the same weight for 40 years. She decided to stop dieting at 50, but she ate very healthy, didn't smoke, didn't drink, but the weight still came on. And she was really worried about ending up like her mom, who was on medications and in really ill health, and she really did not want to take medications. Well, after just 6 weeks of working with me, she released 27 pounds, got back to her dream weight, and she says, this is the easiest diet regimen, or now what I call new lifestyle, I've done. Whenever I talk about the program, I say it's easy, healthy, and it's my new lifestyle. Something changed in my thoughts which I can't explain. I don't feel scared anymore. I don't worry about gaining it back. Every time she would get a pound off or 2 or 10, she'd immediately be scared that she was going to get that weight back, but not anymore. She's now at her dream weight of 127. She's a size 4, and many months later it's been, and she's still keeping it off. And there you can see 106 reactions and 54 comments from our community congratulating her on this success. All right, number 4, we must de-stress the body. This is so key, guys. There's nobody talks about this, but there's actually 3 types of fat. There's normal fat, there's structural fat, and there's inflammatory fat. So each one serves a very important purpose, and not each one is created equal. You see, structural fat is there to coat your organs, the bottom of your feet, and around your joints and arteries. It basically holds everything in place, kind of like your cheeks or your arteries, your organs, your bones, your joints. All these things are structural fat. The normal fat is what you would typically think as used for energy. Now, the inflammatory fat is the dangerous kind that makes up the muffin top and the stubborn area. This is usually around the waist, although it can be around the hips, around the butt, and also around the thighs. And most diets have you burn through the muscle, structural fat, and normal fat, leaving you exhausted, haggard, with sore joints, no difference in inflammatory fat released. So when you're stressed, your body's in a stressful state, it's going to put a lock on the inflammatory fat. It says, no way, there's a war going on in your body, there's stress going on, there's no way that we can tap into this inflammatory fat right now. Because to do so would mean even more inflammation and stress, and we're just not ready for that. So let's just shut that down. Let's burn through muscle, let's burn through structural fat, and let's just keep the inflammatory fat on lockdown. So that's why when I talk to a lot of people on our calls, they say, I want to lose weight, but I don't want to look haggard. I don't want to look sickly. And that's what you get with most programs when people lose the weight, because they lose the weight in their cheeks and in the wrong areas. So they do look sickly. And that's again because they're tapping into their structural fat. However, as you can see from our clients, let's go back and look. Here's Louise. Do you see? You can tell the difference in her face and in her body and how much better she looks. Her cheeks are still full. She still has a lot of blood flow. In fact, you can see more muscle tone than before. You can see Sarah. Look at that muscle tone she has here, and even in here, she has that muscle tone. And look at her face and how full it looks, even though all that weight's released. But look at the difference in her abdominal area. Like, all the inflammatory fat's gone, but you can tell the structural fat in her face, her muscles are still very present. Let's go and look at Melody. You can see Melody's face is flush. It looks great. There's the cheeks are still full, but you can tell in the thighs, or maybe not in this photo, but you can tell in the waist and the arms that she's so much lighter. And let's go to Karen. Let's look at Karen here. Do you see how much of a difference Karen has? Look at her face. She looks like she's 30 years younger. It doesn't look like she's haggard. I'm just going to fast forward a second here and show you another one of my clients here. This is Carrie. Look at the difference. Look at how much muscle she's still preserved. You see, this is what happens when you focus on the inflammatory fat and de-stressing the body. Right? That is the importance of making sure that you don't stress the body when releasing the weight. And that's how you tap into that inflammatory fat. And so when I've talked to people and they feel like if I lose all the weight, they're going to look haggard, again, it's because they've done it all wrong in the past. And they lost structural fat instead of inflammatory fat. So our goal on this program and what we help clients do is tapping exclusively into the inflammatory fat for energy, which is going to reduce all types of health risks, make you feel so much better on a daily basis, and have so much energy and just feel amazing. And I call this the slingshot effect. You see, most programs do the slingshot effect, which is basically they stress the body out, and it's kind of like you're pulling on the slingshot more and more and more and more, and you're increasing so much tension on the slingshot and the actual band, so that when you can no longer hold on to that because there's so much tension, you can't hold on to the band anymore. It just pops and it flies in the other direction. This is what happens when most people's weight. They pull and pull and pull and pull and stress the body out with low-calorie diets, boot camps, through pills and shakes and powders and starvation. And then all of a sudden, they can no longer sustain it, and boom, They let go of the band and it goes in the total opposite direction. They gain a bunch of weight and weight gain that is so much harder to lose than in the past. That is a slingshot effect. And that's exactly the opposite of what we do on our program. So you might be asking, well, how do you de-stress the body? Well, let's look at the most common stressors of the body. You see, there's usually low calorie diets or nutrient devoid diets. These things are like starvation diets, cabbage soup diets, keto, poor sleep. This is one of the biggest epidemics in North America right now is people just are not sleeping good. And this is huge, tremendous stressor on the human body. I don't care how much you're eating, how perfect your diet is, what you're doing with your body, but if you're not sleeping good, there's absolutely no way that you're going to release the weight that you need and keep it off, because the mental stress of not being able to sleep, it just puts a tremendous stress on your body. Now also to consider also the mental stress of not losing weight in the first place creates a continual cycle, because you're so stressed about not losing weight, you're always thinking about it, that your body gets more and more stressed, and it's like a vicious cycle. Exercise. Exercise is so overdone in our society. It's a tool that is used so incorrectly. You see, most people exercise way too much, and then they get injured, they create more inflammation, and they wonder why they're exercising more. Orange Theory Fitness, for example, or boot camp or personal trainers, they're exercising and exercising, but they're finding that they're still gaining more weight, and it's not in muscle, it's in fat. And then also, of course, like I mentioned, pills, shakes, and powders are another one. And you see, most of my clients actually start with the inability to exercise with me because they have arthritis, they have fibromyalgia, they have aches and pains. The most of the clients that come to us are in their 50s and 60s and late 40s and 70s. So they're in a position where exercise might not even be an option for them. They're already always exhausted, so they don't even have the energy to exercise. And they may not even have the time for exercise because they're not very productive in their day. So all the energy they do have, they have to give towards their family and work. And they're so stressed that they can't even think about adding exercise on their plate. So on the Metabolic Reset program, we require zero intense exercise, cardio, or boot camps. Instead, we focus on very short, mild exercise, or even none at all. You see, most of our clients don't even exercise at all. And we do this to relax and de-stress the body while giving you the ability to unwind. There are so many people who love walking. There are people who do yoga, and we allow them to keep those practices as well. But those are some things that will mentally de-stress the body. So that's fine. But what we don't do is anything intense, because we have to focus on de-stressing the body. And we also help to do this with our homeopathic supplement. Which is all natural, hormone free, and it's designed to really help support that stress response as well. And of course, we have our anti-inflammatory diet program as well, and we also get you sleeping much deeper, much quickly, because again, we remember how important sleep is. We've had people who suffered with sleep apnea their whole life. We've got people who've went and did sleep studies, who are on sleep medications, who take pharmaceuticals for sleep. And often they are able to get into a very deep sleep very early in on our program. And this is the number one thing that we do to de-stress the body. It's when our bodies heal when we sleep. And of course, we use a metabolic reset community so you feel supported mentally, emotionally, and throughout the whole process. Other than sleep, the number one stressor on the body is actually social isolation. And it's very easy to feel alone and isolated when you go through a weight release program or a health creating program, because not many other people around you or in your immediate surrounding are doing that. So we have thousands of our clients who are going through the program or who've already gone through it, who are already always supporting one another and always keeping each other very resilient when it comes to roadblocks or whatever happens, and keeping each other very, very motivated and supported. In addition, when we do de-stress the body, we get the fast weight release with our clients, and it's common for our clients to actually release 5 or more pounds in their first week. And guess what? That leaves our clients a lot less stressed about not losing weight. And a big mental stressor on most average weight loss programs is that kind of stress, that they're not getting the results. So the fast results on our program really help to get rid of that stress as well. So here is Corey, showed you just a little bit ago, and these are her own words. She said, She's in her 50s, and she said, I've always been in shape, but over the past few years, I rapidly gained over 20 pounds due to bad habits combined with high stress. She is a successful realtor. So she's very go, go, go. Doesn't have any time really doesn't have as much time as most people, to be honest, with her schedule is so busy. So, you know, with bad habits crept in, she had high stress. And so for her, she felt it was so out of reach to get back in shape. And she really did not know where to start because the things that were working with her before, like lots of exercise, weren't working anymore. And she knew that her clothes were tighter and she could see the weight gain in pictures, but she really did not know what to do. After starting with me, you can see in red there, she released 25 pounds in 6 weeks, got to her goal weight, and now she says, to say this program is a life changer is an understatement. I feel the best I have in years. I want to dress up and show off all the hard work, and I love being in pictures now. Can you imagine hating seeing yourself in pictures to 6 weeks later, flexing those biceps and loving being in photos again? She says, what I love most about the metabolic reset is that it's a lifestyle for a lifetime. It's not a fad diet or quick fix. It's something you can easily follow and maintain your goal weight at. Thank you so much for this program. It's been over 8 months since then, and she has not gained the weight back. All right, guys, number 5, eliminate toxins and inflammation. This one is key as well. You see, most people don't actually know this. They think the primary reason for fat is to store calories, but that's actually incorrect. The main purpose of fat is to store toxins. And that's because we need a space to store toxins outside of our organs when we don't have the ability to detoxify our body. We can't just allow those toxins to float everywhere. They'll literally damage everything, all of our internal organs. So we use the fat cells as a safe house. Now, if you don't detoxify properly, the toxins will be released from fat cells and decrease thyroid function and metabolism. So your body will literally go into the fat cells to break them down for energy. And as it does so, it will release the toxins in those fat cells and liberate them into the bloodstream. And that will go and it will disrupt thyroid function and brain function. It'll disrupt liver function. And this is why people on a weight loss program may feel they get headaches. They may feel like they get exhausted. They can't think properly. It's because you have all these toxins floating around. And when you're putting a lot of toxins in your body, like with shakes and powders and pills and not eating the right foods, but you're not supporting your body and eliminating the toxins, then guess what? You're going to create a lot of inflammation. The inflammation causes our bodies to think that losing fat is not safe, much like stress, and it puts a lock on the inflammatory fat like we talked about. So a big part of what we do is to focus on detoxing. We reduce toxins coming in, and we help to support the elimination of the toxins out of the body that are already there. And when you can do that, the fat can come off much quicker. So what we do is we teach you how to avoid the most common toxins in your environment and in your food, and also the foods that people are most sensitive to as well. And then we use a homeopathic supplement, water intake, as well as the anti-inflammatory foods to support the body in a fast, efficient, sustained detoxing of the body. So not only are you detoxing for the whole program, but we also teach you how to detox your body for the rest of your life so you can keep that engine running at top performance. This is Mary Rosshafer, 69 years old. She started with me at 162 pounds, and within 3 months, she got down to 128 pounds. And she says, I lost 34 pounds, and he has lost 20. She's talking about her husband, who's a podiatrist. I started at 162, and I'm at 127 to 128 pounds. But more than the weight, it's how you feel all over. Attention to inflammation and detoxing your body is key. And the solutions and resources Andrew has, if you plateau, if you're constipated, if your eating lacks good planning, or if you need vitamins, etc., it's all here. I struggled to stay focused and lacked the energy I once had to match my passion. It's back now. My energy level is like I'm 30 again. I also am sleeping 8 hours a night and don't need a glass of wine to fall asleep. I can only attribute this to the total person strategy in the program. It's like your body comes back into balance. Look at her face, so healthy, but look at where the weight's off, her thighs and her midsection. All right, number 6, focus on sustainability. This is probably where most people go wrong on most programs. You see, the way you release the weight must be maintained if you want to keep the weight off for good. You must enjoy your food and you must look forward to it. And an interesting test you can do is to say to yourself, can me and my family enjoy eating this way for the rest of our lives? And if not, guess what? That program is not going to work for you, because if your family doesn't join on board, then you're going to get pulled back into their old habits and you're going to, get back to the weight that you were before. So, you need a program that's not only sustainable for you and that you enjoy, that you love, that you get educated in, but one that is also something your family can enjoy as well. And this is so important because if that's not there, the weight will come back on. Again, the way you lose the weight must be the way that you maintain the weight to keep it off. So these are some of the meals that we have on our program. On the bottom left, you can see fries and a burger with all program approved foods. The fries are made out of specific vegetables. And then you in the middle there have stuffed eggplant with ground turkey breast. On the right hand side there, you have you have a veggie omelet. So we do have a vegetarian. It's possible to do it with vegetarians as well. And we give you a plan of foods that you can buy from the local grocery store. You know exactly what to eat, how much, when to eat it, and you have hundreds of delicious recipes that are fast and easy. And we only focus on foods that you buy from the grocery store. Again, these are foods you can easily prepare yourself. Here are more examples of foods. The top left was done by one of our real estate clients. They are so busy, like Corey, and they just don't really care too much about having a lot of variety. They just want to be very practical. They just want to be able to get going and not have to spend a lot of time cooking. So they would, spend their Sundays cooking their food and laying it out like that. On the bottom left, it's just meat and vegetables there. In the center there, you got some shrimp scallopini. Bottom right, you have your steak, your veggies, and fruits. And then we also have this Caribbean couple who they're Caribbean descent, and so they wanted to make something a little bit more culturally inclined to them. So they mixed it up a little bit. So here's Bambi. She released 90 pounds in 6 months. And Bambi's in her 60s, and she gained 90 pounds after the birth of her son in her 30s. And she tried everything to get the weight off, but nothing worked. She would cry, and she'd cry in the shower. She'd cry all the time because she thought she would be stuck at this for the rest of her life. But after starting the metabolic reset, she had GERD that was there for decades disappeared. Osteoarthritis went from a 10 out of 10 pain where she couldn't even get out of bed. It was so painful. To a 2 out of 10 within her first 6 weeks, and she started going for 1.5 hour walks every day. She released 32 pounds in her first 6 weeks, and the remaining 60 in the next several months. Her blood pressure came back to normal in the first 6 weeks. Her sleep apnea went away, and her energy is high and consistent all day. Here is Bambi a year and a half later, still keeping it off because she loves her new lifestyle. Here's Erica. So she rang the bell in our group, which means that she reached a milestone with her weight. And she rang the bell for her 13-year-old son who's doing the program with her, who's preparing for his black belt test, and his weight was his biggest struggle when he was training. But in his first couple of weeks, on day 17, her son had released 25 pounds. I'm so incredibly proud of him. So this is something that our clients often teach their children so that they can do them too, so that their children who have weight problems can learn from them as well. And that's the beauty of having something that's sustainable. All right, the last thing here is mindset and support. So, for lasting change, you must learn how to think differently. Having the tools and exact process to release the weight is not enough. Just because you achieved your goal does not mean you'll stay there. You must learn how to transform your mind and subconscious to be the person who can keep the habits and tools for lifelong health. You see, these people are not the same people. I mean, yes, they look differently physically, but they're different people mentally. They have a different way of looking at life, about looking at their bodies, about looking at themselves and looking at food. They address their subconscious, they address their mindset, and now they have their risk of self sabotage is extremely low. And if it ever did creep up, they know how to deal with it because mentally they recognize who they see in the mirror and they have that self love for themselves again. And of course, I tied in mindset with support here because really they're doing the same thing. They're keeping you supported, motivated, encouraged to keep going when you don't think that you can anymore. Nobody can do this alone. We can give you a simple program to follow, we can give you amazing results, but everybody needs help. Everybody needs coaching. Behavior change is hard, and friends, family, and coworkers, they'll try and sabotage you either directly or indirectly. So, having a community of thousands of people on the same journey and a coach to course correct and support you in all areas that you need is very important. And having all your questions answered ASAP is important to keep the momentum going and to keep you inspired. Weight Watchers, you have to wait a week to go in and get weighed and ask your questions and to be able to course correct. In most programs, you have to go in and wait a week. And I think that's bull. I don't think you should have to wait a week. I think that if you have a question, you should be able to get it answered right away because every hour counts when you're trying to transform yourself. And when you're making an active effort to be the new person that you know you can be, I believe that carrying out the momentum is extremely important. So, what we have support coaches who are there to answer all the questions quickly. Access to our private Facebook community where there's thousands of our warriors who are constantly on that group there to answer questions, to support you, give you whatever you need. And you can also share an app with your coach where they can track your weight and food and give you feedback and accountability and course correct in a timely manner. So you have to have some kind of support system, not only with people who can share with you and their enthusiasm and support, but also a coach who can give you that timely course correction. Because if you don't know what you're doing when you're doing something wrong and you wait a week, that's a valuable week where you could have released a lot of weight and really kept up the momentum. So here's how we produce our very high success rate. First of all, we have a proven process. We took the unknown gray area of how to release weight and turned it into a precise science. See, while others use guesswork, we use a predictable, proven system. We are certain it will make you slim and healthy. We use a winning community, and it's hard to change your life when you're surrounded by the people you've always been with. Our clients are a worldwide community of people on the same path so that dreams aren't laughed at, but achieved on a daily basis. We have a new paradigm. We create a new way of thinking about our weight. We program our minds. That's so profound. It's like seeing ourselves for the first time. Slim and healthy people take lifetimes to build their mental comprehension mechanism. We figured out how to install it for you in weeks. And we give you expert mentorship. Everyone needs help and advice when tackling new challenges. So true experts are out of reach for most people. And to be honest, most people probably wouldn't be able to afford my per hour charge. However, they get immediate access to me in the community on a weekly basis. So we also have success coaches, each of whom have already gone through the program and gotten great results. So as you see there at the bottom right there, there's 1,500 clients in our group, and they're posting daily to remind you the purpose of the journey and that it is possible. What you want is possible, and it will happen for you. We do have weekly Q&As to answer questions. We have an app to track your weight, and you have access to our success coaches as well. Here are a couple posts in the left post there. There's a woman carrying a bag of potatoes. She released 40 pounds and she went grocery shopping and realized what 40 pounds of potatoes feels like in her hands. On the middle there, Sherry, it's her 57th birthday on that day, and she has released 20 pounds on her 20th day. And she's just so happy and thankful, thanking the group, their accountability partners. You can see all the support she got there. And then on the right there, Suzanne says this community is the best, and she has support from that as well. So having a community to support you is very, very important. Here is Laura. So Laura had tried everything to release the weight, and she actually got to her dream weight after working with me. And now she says, now I know what to eat, how much to eat, how to sleep better, how to change my mindset to succeed, and most importantly, how to keep the weight off for the rest of my life. In a very short period of time, I was able to reach my dream weight and recapture my dreams of living a very active retirement life, doing all the things I love to do, hike and bike with ease and confidence. I'm so happy to be back in a body that feels and looks on the outside the way I feel like on the inside. And then at the bottom there, she says, a huge thank you for Andrew Hanoun, Donna, Kelly, and my fellow warriors whose strength and determination I admire every day for getting my life back. So that's the importance and the impact of having a great community and coaches and support. So believe me when I say that there is a shortcut and an easier way. It's with following a proven system that has actually helped thousands of other people release the weight. Here is Jill and Kevin Smith. They started with me, they're both in their 60s, and after 6 months, they released over 140 pounds combined together. But before starting with me, they both tried everything: Weight Watchers, keto, ideal protein, and nothing worked to get the weight off and keep it off. Kevin could not walk to his car because his back was so bad. He was on 22 medications a day and was worried his body would give up on him at any time. He had weight issues since he was 5 years old. Jill was on several medications that had no energy. She had weight issues since her 30s. After starting, in 2 weeks, Kevin was off his blood pressure medications, and in 3 weeks, he was off his metformin. Jill was able to come off a blood pressure medication and has the energy back to play with her grandkids. They are both loving eating real food and have the peace of mind they can be around to see their grandchildren grow up. Here is the before and after for Kevin and Jill Smith. You can tell they haven't just released the weight, they look like different people. Here's Stacy, who is so excited because when we spoke on the phone, she said her realistic and her dream weight. Her dream weight would be her high school weight. Well, she's passed her realistic goal and 8 pounds away from what I thought would be impossible. At the bottom there, she says, the metabolic reset is a way of life that is so easy to follow, and I'm very rarely hungry. This is Louise, and if you ever thought age was an issue, think again. Louise was 69 when she started with me. She had no energy to play with her grandchildren. Her biggest concern was not having the health to be able to take care of her husband, who has dementia. She was 257 pounds at 69, and she was the heaviest she had ever been. After starting with me, she says, I have learned how to maintain, which is amazing. That's fantastic. That's what I like the most, I guess, is I can do this for the rest of my life. I love it. She's at the lowest weight she's been in 30 years. I have so much energy, I just keep on going. I can go kayaking. I couldn't do this before. I'm able to build a fence and shovel snow. But what I like the most is the mindset. For me, the mindset is what was different than any other diet. And she released 67 pounds in 8 months. Now, she is very tall, and her goal was not to be skinny, just to get the weight off so that she can feel healthy and that she can be around longer for her husband and her grandkids. And you can see here, this is her after having released 70 pounds with another 70 pounds on her back in the form of her grandson. This is Darlene. Again, if you think age is a factor, Darlene is 72 years old. She started with me on February 1st at 159.8 pounds. And in 5 months, she got down to 111 pounds, 0.6 pounds, which is 48 pounds released. So now she's basically at her dream weight. In fact, she said she gained a couple more pounds after this photo because she felt like she just wanted to put a little bit more meat on her bones. But again, she has control over what and how much weight she releases. And that is the beautiful thing. She almost had to give up her farm because she could not do the activity she needed to sustain it. So she would have had to sell her farm that she'd been working on her whole life. But now she can farm it and she feels like she's 30 years younger and she can take care of it again. Here is Yvonne. She says, I have come to understand that through you, Andrew, I've always looked at my weight issue as my one real failure in life because it's so visible to the world. I withdrew from the world, but I feel like I'm so much younger and healthier now and have a new lease on life. I'm engaged in things again and feel great. The program and support saved my physical, mental, psychological health. I'm still so amazed at how fast the turnaround was. I will be forever grateful. I'm blessed. Here's Bob Proctor. He is a world famous speaker, motivational coach, and author. He was a star of the best selling movie, The Secret. And he actually had his wife and his vice president and his president go through my program. And he actually got to witness it firsthand for himself and apply some of the principles too. And he says the Metabolic Reset program is without question one of the most effective weight release programs I've ever seen in my life. I believe Andrew has one of the best programs for weight release that anybody will ever find anywhere. It's super effective, but only if you follow it. So now you basically have two options at this point. One is you can go at this alone, spend thousands of dollars on other programs, diets, tests, supplements, healthcare professional visits, trying to figure this out on your own, getting frustrated and wasting the next 10, 15, 20 years of your life, and then giving up. Or two, learn the proven system from somebody who's done it and who's not just done it, but actually mastered it and helped thousands of other people do so as well. Now, if you're smart, you're going to go with option two and decide to work with me. Here's what you're looking for in terms of results and speed. Here's a rough timeline for my clients and their results. Within the first week, many of our clients will have released over 5 pounds, are sleeping better, and have more energy. Within the second week, they love healthy foods, their clothes will start feeling looser, they have a natural glow to them, and wake up with energy to conquer the day. 3 is within the third week, they will need to go on their first shopping spree and do some back of the closet shopping with clothes they haven't been able to wear in years. Friends, family, coworkers start asking them what they're doing and complimenting them on how they look. And with the fourth week, they'll have released 15 to 30 pounds and feel amazing. They have the confidence to show up in their life. They have the energy to not only keep up with their kids and grandkids, but to outrun them. And that's just the first month. So if this sounds like you and you want to blast through your plateau, release the weight, and gain control over your health and weight, then over the next 5 days, my team and I have set aside time for a limited number of consultations. We'll talk for roughly 45 minutes and we'll map out an exact action plan for you to follow so that you can finally release the weight for good and learn how to keep it off for good. Now, if you're asking, who is this for? Here it is again. It's for those women who are 45 to 75 years old who've tried everything to lose weight, but have had little to no results. It's for those who want to learn a quick, healthy, sustainable way to release the weight and learn how to keep it off. Those with weight-related health conditions like high cholesterol, high blood pressure, diabetes, arthritis, migraines, sleep apnea, thyroid conditions, reflux, who would like to work on improving them. It is for those who understand they need to invest in themselves and that they are worthy of having the health and body that they desire. I've shared roughly 30 to 40 case studies with you here in this video, and I cannot stress how important results are. And I only work with someone if I have absolute conviction that I'm going to get them amazing results. So honestly, out of 5 people I talk to, maybe 3 people I just tell, sorry, I don't think I can help, and the other 2, I can help. And I only want to work with people who understand the need to invest in their health. You saw the kind of caliber of people in the Facebook group, and those are the kind of people that I am privileged and honored to have in our group. And I like to keep the spirit, I like to keep the attitude very positive, and I like to keep the group for those who are really interested in investing in themselves and who want to take this seriously. So what I want to do for you right now is if you want to release the weight and learn how to keep it off, then you're going to be able to go to this link on the next slide over here. And so there are over 230 people on this webinar, and our schedules can only handle a very limited number of consults over the next 5 days. So you must apply now. So if you're really serious about taking your health to the next level, and you really want to release all the weight and finally live the life you know you're capable of and have these kind of results, then you need to schedule and apply now. You can go to this link to do so. And when you go to that link, you'll be able to schedule a call with me or one of my coaches. And if you want this, head over to that URL right now and let's jump on the call and have a quick conversation. And if I can help, I'll be abundantly clear. If I can't, I'll be abundantly clear. You see, I only work for those who I have a conviction that I can help. So that's it for today's webinar, and I usually would stick around for an hour or more to have some Q&A, but because I'm offering this opportunity to talk to me one-on-one personally or my team, there's not going to be any Q&A right now. But if you've got questions, you can hover to apply for the conversation, and we'll jump on the phone and talk. And like I said, this will probably be the most valuable 45 minutes you spend on your health and weight this year. So go over to that URL and apply now, because I promise you spaces will fill up quickly. And here I see a couple of questions. People are asking the question, what is the cost for the call? The cost of the call is 100% free, no strings attached. I'll talk to you for 45 minutes, map out an exact action plan to get you to where you want to be, and there is no charge. So if you like that, then head over now and schedule that. And I want to thank you for attending the 7 steps to resetting your metabolism and releasing the weight webinar. I really hope you enjoyed it, and I hope I delivered tremendous value to you, and I hope you get some awesome results with this material. And like I said, if you want to take the shortcut, if you want a predictable success system, and to learn from somebody who has already done it with thousands of clients, then schedule a call. So thank you, and have a wonderful rest of your day.